This episode of the Beauty by ABIC podcast was brought to you by InSkin Cosmetics. Hello and welcome to the Beauty by ABIC podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Here, we are strengthening and unifying the industry through representation, innovation, and education. This is a platform created and dedicated to the aesthetic and beauty industry, valuing unity and advancement. We serve to represent, support, and inspire you by connecting you with industry experts, expanding your knowledge through educational pieces, and bringing you the latest industry news. This is Beauty by ABIC. Today, my guest is Keira Maloney, HR specialist from HeadHunter Recruitment. Keira is not only a council member of ABIC, but is also a recruitment specialist at HeadHunter, which is a platform servicing the hairdressing and beauty industries exclusively. Keira has a background in HR and recruitment within varying businesses in the beauty and aesthetic industry over the past 6 years. Working in both internal HR positions as well as within recruitment agencies, Keira is fiercely passionate about staying abreast of new concepts, strategies, and ideas around how to effectively recruit in our ever-changing industry. Keira believes we are in a time where we are moving past traditional recruitment methods and that different options need to be considered for attracting and employing staff to ensure the most extensive exploration of candidate channels before shortlisting. Through her work at HeadHunter, Keira has helped countless businesses create comprehensive recruitment campaigns that have achieved measurable outcomes. Here to discuss the somewhat controversial topic of headhunting versus poaching from HeadHunter Recruitment, today we welcome HR specialist Keira Maloney. Hello, Keira, and welcome to the Beauty by ABIC podcast. How are you?
I'm good, Steph. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. I was very excited about having you here today because, as everyone knows who knows us, we are friends and we are also on the ABIC Council together.
What is it, 6-7 years?
Yeah, a long time. So I'm privileged to get all the inside information from you about all things HR and recruitment. And I thought, let's come on and do a podcast today and maybe give everybody, the listeners, some information about, what you're currently doing. A big question that always comes up, which is what you do, which is running HeadHunter. But before we do, we'd love to start the podcast in the same way as we always do. We ask our guests to share a little bit about themselves and how they started in the beauty and aesthetic industry.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of how many years ago it was now. It must be coming up to 7. I think it's 6 or 7 years ago. And I had come from a background in corporate recruitment, recruiting in the public sector or government sector. And a little bit stale for me, came across to a business here in Victoria, looking after their recruitment across 13 laser and skin clinics. And that definitely was the time where I knew this is home, this is where I want to be, this is a great industry, the people in it are fantastic. And the rest is history. I've stuck around since then.
It's really funny because some people, when they come into the industry, you just know if you love this industry and it gets into your bones and you think, I can't leave, this is where I'm supposed to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think the thing for me was I actually did hairdressing and beauty 2006. And it was not for me. It was just providing the treatments and doing that side of things just was not for me. But coming back into it from a perspective where I got to do admin and a little bit more of the brain stuff, I love that. So it's an amazing industry. It's full of incredible people. I cannot see myself working in another industry for sure.
Oh, I feel the same way. You're completely enamored and passionate about the industry, as
everybody in the industry is because, let's face it, we do it for the passion. Things are a little bit different now, I suppose, with the new changing landscape of a post-COVID world in every country, but especially in Australia. We are in this bit of our reintroduction into the workforce, if you will, after being away for such a long time, and we found ourselves with a skill shortage. What you do is very unique. You're part of HeadHunter Recruitment. Tell us a little bit about HeadHunter before we start on our topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came on board with HeadHunter about 18 months ago now, just around the time that it was in its early launch stages. And what we do is we're basically a recruitment platform specifically for the hairdressing and beauty industries. So it's more targeted. It's something that, you know, rather than it being hairdressing and beauty lumped in together like other platforms, it's really something you can sort of break down how you're advertising and capture candidates in a little bit more of a targeted way. It's something that every quarter, basically, we're looking at the business and saying what worked, what didn't work. And we're in that early inception stage. We're really quite moldable still. And there's some exciting concepts that we are looking at launching in the next few months.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So it's a great platform.
Yeah, for sure. And you launched 18 months ago. So that was right in the middle of the pandemic as well. Very similar to ABIC. Launched right in the heart of it.
Right in the eye of the storm. Yep.
So you've obviously seen how recruitment is evolving. And today we're talking about a slightly controversial topic, if you will, of headhunting versus poaching. So this is a very, I suppose, talked about topic at the moment because things are changing in our industry. So let's start with defining what exactly is poaching.
Yeah, so poaching it's such a dirty word in our industry. Poaching is really different to headhunting. It is a concept which is more around unsolicited contact with a candidate. So somebody who is working in a business and, you know, we see a lot of dermal therapists, cosmetic nurses especially have their own social media followings. And an example of poaching might be noticing that person, knowing that they work somewhere, but still sliding into their DMs and saying, hey, I've got an opportunity. Are you interested? It's something that there's something a little bit seedy about it because that person has not put their hand up and said, I'm open to that happening. So yeah, that's the concept of poaching.
Right. Okay. So how is that different to headhunting?
Yeah, good point. So headhunting is solicited contact. So a lot of the time, you know, you'll see candidates update their profiles on Seek. They might switch their LinkedIn profiles to open to new opportunities. Right. And that's kind of them waving a flag and saying, hey, I'm over here. I'm open to hearing about new opportunities, but I'm reasonably happy where I am and I'm not going to actively go looking for something. So, but feel free to contact me if there is something.
Right. Okay. That is a clear definition there. It's a clear distinction between the two. So thank you very much for clarifying that because a lot of people are a little bit misunderstanding of the difference. We're in this field right now, which is wonderful, but we do have this skill shortage that's happening. How is the industry currently recruiting at the moment? And do you think that it needs to change? And if you think it needs to change, why do you think it needs to change?
Yes. So I have all the thoughts on this. Some people aren't going to like what I have to say.
That's okay. We're here to have the hard discussion.
Good. Because I hope everyone's ready for this. I'm going to say some things that, you know, might make some enemies and might make some friends. I don't know. But look, yes, absolutely. Our industry is probably 10 years behind other industries in the way that we recruit.
Wow, that far behind.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's funny. We have got such a loyalty to our industry. There is such a community amongst our industry. And yes, absolutely, there's some people that they're happy to go out and approach a staff member that works in a rival clinic and they've got no issue with that. But generally, I think that there is a fear of doing that because it's going to make enemies. And we're quite a non-confrontational industry. It's all about happy and, making people feel good. And it's not so abrupt and to the point and fiery as other industries may be. So I think right now the traditional way of recruiting is, okay, I have a vacancy or I'm going to have a vacancy coming up. So I'm going to put a job ad up and I'm going to wait for applicants to come through. And the only people that I'm going to contact are the applicants that come through on that position that I believe are right for my business. Whereas the only problem with that is only active candidates that you're tapping into. Those people have applied for your role, so therefore they're an active candidate. But there's a whole, if I would say that would make up 10% of your potential, but there's another 90%.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. There's another 90% worth of potential there that is passive candidates that are working in jobs, but they're not logging in to job advertising platforms every night, checking what's available. They're just not. It's not how it works anymore.
At InSkin Cosmetics, they don't just have stockists or clients, they have partners. Their philosophy is win-win, and InSkin remain committed to supporting you through the challenges and when popping the champagne in celebration. InSkin Cosmetics is Australian-made, owned and loved with a range of online protected brands that support the lifeline of the professional industry. At InSkin, you'll experience benchmark customer service, a laser focus on education, a dedicated business development team with a genuine interest to help you build your dream, and an InSkin Pop incentive program designed to support and reward your growth. InSkin partners also receive exclusive access to InSkin Pop Facebook group, accompanied by access to an innovative portfolio of most wanted brands thanks to industry-leading marketing support and award-winning campaigns that drive consumers to the professional beauty industry doors. To start your InSkin journey, make an appointment today to speak with a BDM and quote in beauty to claim your free trial product. Thank you, InSkin, for making today's podcast episode available.
There's a whole untapped territory that I think that our industry really needs to rise up and start getting involved in and start utilising.
And I suppose the people that aren't actively looking, why do you think they're not? Do you think that they're also in a position, seeing that the industry is changing, waiting for people to come to them, or they just can't be bothered? They're, comfortable in their jobs, not very happy, but sort of struck by the lazy bone, and not wanting to actually reach out. Why are they not applying?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of different things. I think that, again, in our industry, we are such a non-confrontational industry, and the concept of resigning from a boss or a leader, especially in a small business that really needs you, is very difficult to reconcile. So the concept of applying for a job, it can feel like there's a sense of betrayal there. Like that's you actively making the decision, I am intending to leave this business. Whereas it's a lot easier when the time comes to resign if you say, look, I've been approached about this opportunity. It sounds amazing. I don't know. There is some psychology there about why it feels a little bit easier to not be actively applying. But I mean, people still do it. They do apply for jobs. We see applications come through every single day. But I just think that there is a lot of people out there who work in jobs. And if the right opportunity came along that was going to be more fulfilling or had a better leader or a better roster or work-life balance, whatever it may be that is missing, that they would jump at that opportunity and want to know more. So
this opens up a whole nother conversation about how to retain your staff and how to make sure that your staff don't feel like they're open to looking for other opportunities. But that maybe is a conversation for another time.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But okay, so we know why the industry needs to change. But Keira, why do you think it should change? Why do you think we need to change with the times?
we've just been through a global pandemic, which has completely changed the way everyone ever thinks. Like there's no denying that the way that we think about work is completely different. So I think the people are working. The other thing we have to consider is that our unemployment rates are at their lowest. So pretty much everybody in our industry is working. They are in jobs. Let's be honest, and I'll say this quietly, if they're not actively working at the moment, there's potentially a reason why. That, depending on how long they've been looking and things like that, that's not to say that everybody that applies for a job is completely useless. That is not the case at all. But it's more just the best people are going to be working. They're going to be currently in a position.
Yes, and they're going to be coveted by the business owner. So, the chances of them being free and on the market when, business owners right now are doing their best to keep their staff happy, engaged and well paid. You're right. It is a little bit of a different market.
Definitely. And I think that with that market, with a majority of the candidates or potential candidates that could be relevant for your business being passive, and again, what I mean by passive is currently working but open to new opportunities, we have to find new ways to get in front of those people. And those people, as I said, are not jumping onto a computer or on their phone every day and looking at new opportunities. You have to find ways to go to them. So it's a different time. You just can't put up a job ad and wait anymore. I think everybody probably is starting to come to terms with that because they know, there was a time we'd put an ad up, you'd get 30, 40 applicants through, and now you're lucky to get 7 to 10.
Oh, that's the truth. Lucky to get that 7 to 10 is quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the time has come where that has been the case for a while in a lot of industries for specialized jobs. And that's why those industries have already shifted to a place of, okay, we need to be headhunting, we need to be approaching, we need to be going out and looking for people. So maybe it is time for our industry to start considering that concept.
Well, it can be really daunting actually for some business owners and employers even to think about using other tactics such as headhunting or even, personally reaching out to candidates. Where can we start? What advice can you give us specifically in that area?
Absolutely. So lots of different things you can try. Look, if it's something that fundamentally you don't feel comfortable with or you don't want to be responsible for, number one thing would be to reach out to a recruiter. So obviously that's something that a lot of people are reaching out to us about is, hey, can you manage this process for me? And we are, I don't know if I should be saying this yet, but we are looking at launching some more strategic help for this side of recruiting.
Oh, how exciting.
So I don't know if I'm going to get told off for that.
It's a setup. We haven't told anybody anything. It's just a setup for, keep your eye on HeadHunter.
Yes, we'll get it. I'll go get approval quickly after this and then find out if we have to edit it out or not. But, I think the other thing as well is there's so many different ways that you can go and find people. I know I've worked in the music industry and that is all approaching. There is no such thing as job advertisements in that industry. It's all about who you know, where they are, going up and having a conversation with somebody. And that's how the entire industry works with recruiting. And so that's the extreme. Then you've got corporate industries where there's specialized positions, like example, HR, accounting, payroll, where those people are typically on platforms like LinkedIn and they are either switched on or off as open to being approached and open to having a conversation about a new opportunity. Our industry is not well established on platforms like LinkedIn yet, but we are starting to see a lot of dermal therapists, cosmetic nurses, senior beauty therapists appear on there. And that is a great way to find stuff. And if you know how to use the search tools on LinkedIn and you're looking for BDMs or educators or, you know, those high-end positions, that is a fantastic way of looking for staff. But also, you know, you've got on the HeadHunter platform, candidates can register with us. If you advertise a job with us, you have free reign. You can look at anyone and everyone who's ever registered on the HeadHunter platform, and you have free reign to contact them and get in touch with those candidates. So it's things like talent searching. You can go out and find them, but there's other ways that you can do it as well. I mean, if you've been in business for 20 years and you've advertised in that time 10, 15 times, you're going to have a whole database of candidates that have previously applied for your positions. Get every single email address, like call, seek, ask for the CV, whatever the Excel spreadsheet download is. Get every single email address of every candidate that's ever applied for you and send them an email and say, we have an opportunity. Is it something you're open to hearing about? And while that is potentially that person has not put their hand up, they have applied for you previously. So you have their details and they have shown interest in the past. So why not do that? So I don't know. I think that there's just a lot of different new ways that you can get in front of people without necessarily.
So many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just don't advertise. Don't just put a job ad up and wait. You have to actively go and look. So
yes. Okay. Well, what's a real no-no in headhunting? What shouldn't we do?
Oh my gosh, like I said earlier, I say it all the time and it sounds so seedy because it is. Sliding into people's DMs, I see it all the time in the hairdressing industry. You know, every hairdresser I feel like has their own personal page, and it is uncomfortable, I think, for some people because it's like that's their business page. They're trying to establish a clientele, and then they've got people that are contacting them about new opportunities. And it's just, they haven't put their hand up for that. They're there because they are trying to build their clientele, not because they want to be contacted about a job. So unless there has been a bridge built or what's the term, olive branch put, I don't know if that's even right context, but unless they have put it out there, I'm open to hearing from you. You just can't do it. So make sure that either they've applied for you before, they've put their profile as contactable, and they understand that they might be reached out to, then it's fine. But other than that, like, don't go into a treatment room, don't go to your competitor and have a treatment and then go, hey, are you happy? Like, that's not cool.
Does that happen?
I would say
You must have heard so many stories.
I've definitely heard a story about a specific very high-end spa where a team went and had treatments for like a Christmas party or something like that. And I know for a fact that was a strategy that was used to actually get a staff member on board. Ooh. So isn't that just,
that's a no-no. We can definitely put that in the no-no category.
That is the no-no category for sure. Definitely.
For sure. We could talk about this literally all day. There's so many questions that I'd love to ask you. But the best thing to do, and there's so many people that have different questions pertaining to their business specifically. So if anybody, I highly recommend to use the HeadHunter service if you're thinking about headhunting, especially if you've never done it before. I've used it before. It works fabulously well. It is a little bit different getting your head around it in the beginning, but it's definitely something that I believe our industry should consider, or at least have a conversation about. But if anybody has any questions for you, no doubt they will, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram, which is HeadHunter Recruitment. You can reach out to me personally on my my Instagram page, which is Keira Maloney HR. Our website is headhunter.org.au. We've got a Facebook. We're everywhere. If you look up HeadHunter Recruitment, you'll find us.
And if you're an ABIC member, you also get a really great value offer there as well. So, you know, if you're listening to this and you're an ABIC member, do reach out because HeadHunter Crew will absolutely look after you with that value add. But Keira, thank you so much for coming on board and sharing all your insights with us. Always wonderful talking to you. And I hope you come back on again so we can talk about, maybe some other topics around retention or recruitment. But thank you so much for joining us today.
I will be back for sure. No problem
for sure.
at all. Can't wait.
Thanks, Keira.
Thank you.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Beauty by ABIC podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay connected.